my third combat tour, it was rough. It was difficult. I mean, we had a third of our platoon lost their lives in that deployment and half wounded. There was an operation the battalion was doing to try to push through a certain area and sweep it and search it. And so we were on a blocking position to keep bad guys from escaping, and had to make a decision about like, when do we move? Like, well, we'll move at night, because the biggest threat was IEDs, right? Improvised explosive devices. So we would just drive at night as fast as we could on nods, and most of the time they couldn't time it right to hit us just right. And they had changed tactics completely, literally like on a moment's notice, where they went to pressure initiated devices, right? And seeded this entire area. We had hit just this catastrophic IED ambush. Being the guy in charge after that very tough, terrible stuff, you got to maintain your composure. Even if you're sad, even if you're full, your heart is full of grief and suffering, you got to maintain your composure in front of the guys. But then you also have to grieve, right?
Most situations, if we're back home and something like that happens, everything stops. There's a grieving process. People come in and support. When you're in combat, you have to wake up the next day and finish the mission. What did that look like for you? And what did that look like for your Marines as you led them to be able to saddle back up and go back out and operate?
There was a time when I could kind of tell some of the guys were probably not wanting to get right back up and go right back out. And that's when the XO pulled me aside, and said, hey, this is exactly what they need, is to get right back in it. Because you let it dwell too much, and that fear can start, eating up at you. So you have to stay engaged. But then of course you also have to figure out how to grieve. And what I noticed is the Marines who had the most difficulty afterwards with post-traumatic stress were those that never was able to, they were never able to share the story with anybody. And so they kind of kept it all just inside, and then it would manifest itself in, the type of flashbacks where they would literally taste, smell, feel all the same things. And then all of a sudden be in a position where, man, I don't need to be parachuting today, And so a lot of that resilience, I think, it gets built in you from the blessings of those relationships. And if you don't have that, there's still ways to get it.